Welcome back, everybody. Today video is about how I've protected the screw rods on the Y-axis on the 4040 Pro. Let's get into the video. Welcome back, everybody. This video today is about a problem that occurred with me with the 4040 Pro, the CNC. I haven't read anything out there that anybody else has had the particular problem that I had, but I'll just run through the problem that I had. I was using it the other day and I noticed that it was the right hand side that's looking at the machine. The right hand side didn't seem to be moving in the sequence that the left hand side was, as though it was dragging its feet a little bit. So what I did was I actually looked at the actual screw rods and the guide rails. When I looked at the in motion, there were a delaying backwards and forwards when I used it by hand on the MPG controller. So I knew there were a problem, and I knew it was going to be in the anti-backlash on the screw rod. So what I did was stripped it out, took it out. It ain't a 5-minute job. I have had it out before, but it definitely isn't a 5-minute job. Anyway, I withdrew the anti-backlash and the rod, and when I come to unscrew it, I thought, well, it's very, very tight in here. It almost to the point if you moved it a little bit either way, you could hear a little squeal. And I thought, well, I didn't hear the squeal when it was operating. When I actually come to dismantle the actual screw rod and the anti-backlash, I noticed that there should be a little bit of springiness in it. I thought, it's not there. When I come to take it apart, it was packed with debris, and obviously this was causing the problem. And now this is one of the faults with this machine, is the fact that the screw rods are actually exposed, and they do get a lot of when you're machining, especially big areas, you know, if you're doing a big project, the actual debris that comes off the cutting goes everywhere, and it drops on the screw rods. Now when it falls on the screw rods, if you've lubricated it with a wet grease or whatever you've lubricated it with, it will stick, and the more movement you have on that, the more it will pick up. So if you're doing a bigger item project, it will pick it up. And I thought, so I cleaned it, re-greased it inside, and then I thought I better take the other one off. I took the other one off and it wasn't as bad, but it was getting there. So I knew that this is a problem. Now we know you can buy the in fact it's you can see it on the computer screen there. You can buy the plates that fasten to the frame of the CNC, and they're just uprights. Now these are 60 mil, 6 centimeters high, so they only go up as far as a little bit up the actual flat rail that goes on, that covers the actual screw rod. Now I want particular lover of those. I mean, they're not cheap as they are, but I thought I'm gonna try and sort this problem, or it's an ongoing problem, and so it's work in progress. So I decided on 3D printing something, my own guide rails protection. So and I'll show you what I've done. Now these are what I've printed off myself. Now I have a T-slot table. They actually bolt on to the frame. Okay, so the 60 6 centimeters or 60 millimeters tall, but that's from the crossbar at the front, so you're actually only getting, really, if you've got your table on, about 50 mil at the most up there, so it just covers debris going in at the bottom, doesn't stop anything from deflecting off the top and going in. So I thought I'd come up with a little bit of a response to that. So, and what it is mine's T-slot. So as you can see there, it's shaped to go in the T-slot side on. Okay, I'll take you over to the machine in a minute and show you. Now I made these in sections because I might only want to use the first 3 or first 2 depending where I'm machining. It's pointless having them all in. You can leave them in if you want. Now on the machine, on mine, I have the rotor zip on, so I have a different mount, motor mount for that. So, and it all corresponds to what heights you can have. You can have higher on the right, but you can't on the left because it goes to home. Okay, and the gantry of the Z-axis would hit whatever's there, so you've got to make that. So, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you over to the machine and I'm going to show you exactly how these fit and what I've come up with, the first part of this fix, and I'll show you what else I'm going to attempt to do. So I'll take you over to the machine now. Right, here we are at the machine. Okay, so as you can see, just move that over there. As you can see, that's the right hand one installed. Okay, now as I was saying to you about the T-slot there, you can see that slides inside of my table. Okay, and they're in sections, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that takes from front to back. These are 105 mil tall and they just clear the rod, and that's my working safety line, so that gantry there doesn't hit that. Okay, it's only plastic, you can only push it over anyway, but I don't want it to hit, so I have a margin that I marked that I work within. And as you can see, the others come to about here that you purchase. These go far up, so it does stop a lot of the debris going over. Okay, and then on the left side, as you can see there, this one's a 95, and if you look at the gantry there, see if I can get it in shot, see the gantry, you've got about 8 mil clearance there. Okay, so, and when it goes to home, it always, that gantry, this will go up, and this is, when it's down at its maximum, it's level with the bottom of this. Okay, so when that's in the holes on the Z-axis gantry, it's actually is at its highest at the moment, so I use the tall plates. Okay, so it'll go up, 0 off for home, and then come along, so it clears this. Okay, and as you can see, it's still in the T-slot. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how this fits in. So you can see that it just sits into the T-slot there. Okay, pushes in, and that locks into the side plate of this, so you can see that there. And then all I can do is, you'll have to bear with me because it's quite a the need to fit perfect, is you push that. Okay, and they just push in. Okay, like that. Okay, so you can see what that is, how it's easy to fit in. And I also worked out that if I use the gantry or the Z-axis on the lower mounts, I can't use these, it's too tall, that would hit this. So I created some 65 mil. Okay, now they're 65, so they're taller than the original ones because they're going from, it's 65 from the top of the table there to the top of the unit. Okay, so they're still up here, so they still protect it. Okay, and they work a treat, they do keep a lot more inside. as I say, most of the debris now is captured inside this area, but what you find out is the dust in the atmosphere and odd chips will go over here. So what I am doing, I'm going to try and work some a bellows system out by along like I have on my my Pro machine and my 3030. It's like a flimsy bellows, flat bellows, and it stretches quite a length, but it actually compresses to a small amount, and you've only got here when the machine's at home about 40 mil. So you've got to, whatever compress into here has to be within that 40 mil, and I'm just hoping it does it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fasten it, secure it on top with a bracket and across to here, so every time that opens and closes, the bellows system protects this from anything from going down in here. Okay, and at the rear, I'll do it at the rear here as well, and see how it goes. But this is work in progress. So this is stage one, to protect those screw rods and the guide rails. The guide rails have a sort of a dust scraping cover on, but they still need protecting, because whatever lubricant you put on, and it's people choices for the lubricant on the screw rods, and you can see first thing that catches the actual debris is the screw rods down there. Falls, lands on here and then drops in there, and then that's moving along and it just picks it up, and that's what caused the problem, mine. If anybody's having the same issues, let me know in the description, in the comment section. It'd be interesting to find out, because I've looked and I can't find anybody having any problems. So it's worth making a note that this problem occurs. Now, I don't think I'd be the one off, or whether people are noticing it, but when I was moving this backwards and forwards in Pro, I noticed that this was sort of delayed like that. I don't know whether you can see that, but it was, when it moved back, this moved like a delay in it, and what it was, the screw rod was tight within the anti-backlash, and that was a problem. I mean, I think they should have come up with some sort of bellows system on the screw rods to protect. Not so much these, although because they're easy to wipe clean, and they do have somewhat on there, like a little rubber seal, which does scrape a lot of the dust off. Okay, but hence that, they should be protected, and I'm going to see what I can do about the top ones as well. But main ones at the moment is this one and this one. So we'll see what can become of that. But that's how I've sorted it, stage one, and we'll see what we come up with for the next stage. I mean, it's don't get me wrong, it's a good little machine, and I was going to upgrade the spindle. Like, in fact, I had a comment the other night from a gentleman asking me if I'd upgraded to the 800 watt spindle, and I said no, I haven't. I've no need to, because since I've put the rotor zip on, that for £10 does everything I want it to do on here, and I can put bigger cutters in it, and it cuts as sweet as anything. It really is good. It might not be everybody's cup of tea, but for £10, what a bargain, as opposed to getting and it's quieter than an actual palm router or a router. So it isn't as quiet as my water cooled spindle, my BFD one, but it still is a good addition to the machine. It's far superior to the 500 watt spindle, because when I got this, there weren't much available. The Sainsmart hadn't brought out their own trim routers and that to put on, so I was looking to upgrade from that cheap little spindle that they put on such a good machine. So I upgraded to the next best and I tried to keep it at cost, low cost as possible, for people if they were going to do it, and I chose the 500 watt brushed spindle. It's not a brushless, and believe it or not, it's okay, but it's out of balance, it gives vibration, it's supposed to be, it only goes up to 12,000 RPM. It doesn't go up to that because I put a tachometer on it and it only does just over 11,000, so you're short there for a start off. I built a control box for it. It does work, and it's better than the weak cheap spindle that's on the machine. However, this is far superior to that. Didn't realise at the time, but there you go, lessons learned. But it has been a good machine and a good spindle setup, this now. I'm not going to upgrade anything more, motor or anything else on this machine. I think it's just a waste of time. I use, as I say in all my videos, I use the offline controller always. I use that and my MPG, which is down there, and the good combination now works pretty good. Okay, well, I'm back round again now. So that's the first part of the fix. I'm hoping to do something. I might not, but I will let you know whether it's worthwhile doing or whether I can improve it anymore. But I'm going to try, because I think that's what this machine needs, is protection on all those screw rods. They could have put a compressed bellows system on the rods and one that could clip around, but it's, you know, and protect that. At least they'd have done some sort of protection with it, but it's just open, and I'm not going to. All my Pro machine and my 3030, all the screw rods, the ball screws, are all protected, barring the one under the table on my Pro machine, because that's underneath all where the debris is, so it's clean. I do blow these out regular, but it still picked it up. What some people's like, where I've seen them on the videos where they're machining and it's full, and this is where you'll end up with problems. This is where you'll end up, it'll jerk, and next thing you know, you've got a miscut or an out of alignment cut. I can't stress enough, those rods must be cleaned after use. They're exposed, they need blowing off, and that's the only way, blowing off with a compressor. You can't do it any other way, and I do it quite regular. Okay, and wet grease is worse on there. I use it like a dry lubricant on these, because wet grease will pick up and hold, and I think originally it had some sort of lubricant on it. I don't know what it was, but anyway, that's the fix for this. I did have a gentleman ask me, one of my subscribers the other night, as I say, about the 800 watt spindle I'd upgraded, and he was looking at it, and he'd got the 500 watt spindle like myself, and I said, no, I haven't, and I'm not gonna now. No need to, that works perfect for me. I've got a Pro machine that has a big water cooled spindle on it, and my 3030 has a better spindle on it. That's the brushless spindle. It's not as powerful, but it does the job. So I don't need to pay any more money out, and I've paid enough on this machine now. The improvements I made will be made via 3D printing or other means. I won't be purchasing anything else, no Wi-Fi modules, nothing. But it's like with the gentleman that asked me about the spindle, he said he loved the cooling shroud that I had on the 500 watt spindle. If you look back in my videos, you'll see it's like a white unit that sits over it, because one of the downfalls of the 500 watt spindle, it got awfully hot if you're running for any length of time. So I made a shroud, because the fan blew the air that you get with a spindle, and it blows it like that, not down the side of the motor, which needed cooling. And that's the whole idea. There's no cooling fins on the motor, it's just a smooth outer body. So I did this shroud that fits round, and you put your spindle, and the draft from the spindle is actually caught by the shroud, and it forces it down past the thing. I could run that 500 watt spindle for 2-3 hours, and it just got warm, didn't get hot. It was brilliant. And he asked me, would I supply him with the STL? I'll supply anybody with the STLs that I do. I don't ask for payment for anything. I normally put them on Maker World, and I said it's a bit pointless. If you're going to upgrade to a palm router or something like that, or a 800 watt VFD drive spindle. But he had the original Z-axis gantry frame, which had the flex in it. If everybody that's got 44s remember, the actual body of them were shorter that go on the guide rails, and my bearings fell out, so Sainsmart have been replacing everybody's because of the flex with the upgraded one. Cured the problem. This gentleman still has the original, and he's not so long since bought it, so they shipped it out with the old one on, which they shouldn't have done. You know, and if it showed, it would telling me that the actual advertisement showed the upgraded one, but the one he got wasn't upgraded. And they notified them, and they said, they just come back and said, well, it depends on which he's sent out. No, it shouldn't be that. If he's purchased one with a photograph of one with the upgraded Z-axis gantry on, then that's what he should get. It's, you know, look after your customers, Sainsmart. I did tell him, don't bother upgrading until you get that upgraded Z-axis gantry on, then upgrade your spindle. But yeah, it'll take up to 1.5 kilowatt water cooled spindle, the new one. So yeah, but as I say, it's not about trying to rectify something that's come from the factory as a problem. It's just how they manufactured these. Keep them clean, blow them off after use, you probably never have a problem. But I did have a problem, and this is why I've decided to do what I've done with the side protection guards, just to keep a little bit of that debris off those screw rods. Right, that's the ending to this video. I'll keep you informed, so don't forget, click the notification, gives a thumbs up, but I will let you know if I can manage to do a bellows system on those rails. It's a little bit different with the top, the X-axis, because you can't put any guide protection on because of the Z-axis that goes across the X, so it's one of them things. I'll see what I can do though. But as I say, thumbs up, and as I say at the end of every video, be safe and be careful out there, and until next time, bye for now. Bye.